Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for stopping by. Today I have another 12 by 12 scrapbook layout that I want to create, and the first step that I'm going to do is I'm going to be creating more of these flowers. So I'm using the same steps that I did. This was the first video where we did build our stash and we basically made a ton of flowers. I already have my pinks right here. I already have yellow. I already have some blue. So I'm working on creating purple, which I didn't show you in the build your stash video 1 because I didn't use as much purple, but for this project I am. So I'm just going to stamp away a ton. I'm basically gonna fill up, I'm gonna fill up this this cardstock here, or this piece of paper, and I'm going to get as many images as I can because I am going to be, I need a lot of purple. I don't have as much. Like I said, this is a new color that I added. So I don't know if you guys can tell, but essentially I am trying to create like a pastel rainbow for this scrapbook layout. And so I am using the, even though it's a pink ink, this is Candy Shop Pink from scrapbook.com. Let me clean that up. And yes, it is a pink ink, but once you add, oh, I guess I should have made different flowers, but it's okay. That one will do. Honestly, I just don't want to be bothered by sewing little flowers, so I'm sticking with the big ones. Let me clean up my area. Put this away. Okay, so my next step, same as last time, I am going to, I have this little jar that I keep all my dirty water in. And then I just use the cap to get a couple water in there. I am going to be using the Pastel Dreams, and I am using the Lilac Rain, which is number 48. And because this is, so I think for Build Your Stash, I used a thicker paper. This one is regular Nina cardstock. I think it's 110. So let's see. Okay, so I'm just going to just do it how I did it last time. The first layer is going to be very soft and very random, all to cover the whole flower. So I'm just gonna randomly go in and color really quickly. And I think for this one I'm not doing 3 layers because the paper's not as thick. So I'm just going to stick to 2. It doesn't take much. I think what takes the longest is waiting for it to dry. Here is, I know, looks super light. Now I'm gonna go in with darker, and we're gonna start this way so I can get all the ones that I started out with. And oof, that's too dark, but it's okay. Let me just splatter and then just share with the flower next to it. Okay, so this is what we have so far. I'm going to, can you guys see? to put this away. I'm going to speed up the process of the drying by bringing in my heat tool, and then I'm going to trace the edges with the pencil. Same idea that I did on that first video, you guys. I'm going to link it in the description below because I feel like I kind of rushed through this one. So if you still want to see how we created the flowers initially, then I'll put the video so that you guys can check it out in case you're new. But essentially this is what I did, just less rushed and a little bit better. But since these are going to be overlapping and they're going to be sewn through the middle, then I'm not too worried about it, if that makes sense. So the next step that I am going to be doing, I am going to grab a pencil, and preferably one that has like a nice sharpened point, because the next step is basically, of course, once it dries, but I'm just going to show you, is you're going to, with a light hand, you're going to come in and create the other like outline, trace the outline, and then I'll show you the difference. But this is a little bit still wet, so I might have to wait. And if you mess up, just erase. Let me show you what this one has, the outline already, if you guys can see, and this one does not. So I'm gonna speed up the drawing process. I am going to trace them with a pencil, and then I'm gonna fussy cut, and then once I do that, I'll come back to show you guys the next step. Alright, so now that I finished fussy cutting and I have all my flowers here, I'm just gonna, I want to have them in this order. So purple, blue, yellow, and pink. And I'm going to try to slide my 12 by 12 paper here. And what I want to do is, I have no idea. So I don't know if I want to do watercolor. Let's do the rows of flowers first. I think that's easier, and then I could go behind and do some splatter of watercolor. So what I want to do is, I haven't decided yet if I want 4 of each or 3 of each, kind of smushed together because I gotta make room for all of them. And that's a pretty one. So we try to alternate them so that all the petals are kind of not the same. Then we're going to do blue, or this mint color. Like that. And then we're going to try to squeeze in the purple that we just did. But at the same time, I kind of have to keep an eye on the space right here, because obviously I want it to be even. So just play around, scoot it if you have to. Something like that. So that's going to be our first row. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add, honestly, like I'm going to do the row first, just so I can eyeball. And I'm going to help myself by adding a glue dot to the middle of each flower, And then once that's done, then I'm also trying to keep it as straight as possible. I mean, it's not gonna be perfect, but there, something like that. So gently and carefully, I'm going to lift each flower. Just put a small dot, and I should start with the ones on the edge here, so that at least I know how far to go. Now the thing is, I don't know if I want to add, how many rows up do I want to add? I have no idea just yet. Okay, that is our first row. So now we're going to do another one, do one at the top, and then I was thinking that I could add color here, like just random color, but I don't know if that's gonna work. Let me do my rows first. So I'm just going to continue to create rows. Maybe I'll do 3 and then leave the space and then 1. So we'll see how this works out. But in the meantime, for sure, I know that I want to add another row. And then I'm gonna hand sew everything. So I'm gonna put you guys back on speed mode so that I can organize my rows, and then I'll let you know what I decide to do. Okay guys, so as you can see, I decided to do 4 rows, 3 in the bottom, 1 in the top, and the pictures are gonna go down the center, or that empty space. I am going to be bringing over the pastel watercolors from Prima Marketing, the same ones that I've been using, and I'm going to create some color in between each flowers and also create some splatter. I'm gonna speed this up or cut some of it off because honestly you guys, this video is like 3 hours long of editing, and hopefully you guys get kind of like the steps that I'm giving you and it makes sense. So I'm gonna put you guys back to speed mode, and you guys get to see a little bit of the watercoloring I'm talking about. Here I have already begun my splatter, and as you can see, I ended up using a paper towel to help me cover the color next to it because I wanted it to flow within the same direction of its color, if that makes sense. So I'm covering all the like for example the sides of the yellow so that I could just get that splatter down the center of the yellow flowers. So that's what I'm doing here. Alright, so now I am taking my T ruler and I'm going to very lightly do a straight line across the center of each row of flowers. And the reason for that is, you guys remember that I broke my sewing machine and I don't have one, and I'm sewing all of this by hand. So I want the ruler to be able to help me so that it kind of stays straight, and I'm lining them up. And I'm going to be sewing the rows of flowers off camera just to save time on this video, so you guys probably won't see it. I'm just pre-punching my holes. Again, not really measuring the distance between each hole, but just sticking to that line that I drew. And I should also point out, because I'm not sure if I mention it later on the video, but you see how the flowers are like in what I say rainbow color order. I did the rows the same way. So this top row that you guys see right here, I'm going to be using pink thread, and then the second row is going to be yellow, and then the third is going to be blue, and the last one is going to be a lavender color. So I made the thread match the order in which the flowers were put in place, if that makes sense. So like I said, I'm gonna finish this off camera, you guys, and we'll see you in a bit. Guys, so it's the next day, because you know how long it took me to hand sew this, but I want you to see how gorgeous it came out. So I kind of did the thread in the order of the flowers. So the first thread right here is pink, this one is yellow, this one is blue, and this one is purple or lavender. You guys can see, just kind of like a different touch. So now that this layout is essentially complete, I'm basically going to be bringing over 2 pictures, and I don't have them backed up yet. These are old pictures, and I want this one to sit like right here, and this one to go behind it in an angle somewhat and sit like that. And that's gonna be our layout. So I am going to find a pretty paper to give a background to the pictures, maybe trim this off a little bit, because this, or maybe I could peel it and you would never know. And you would never know it was there. Add maybe a few decorations to it. Maybe I was thinking, you know, like, although I didn't use orange for this, so maybe add like a butterfly somewhere like that, and finish up the small touches or the embellishment portion of the layouts. But I just wanted to let you guys come back over and tell you like how long it took me to sew, and if you guys can see the detail of the thread, that it's basically in color order the same way I did the the flowers. And you guys saw how I gave it some color by splashing, splattering, and kind of decorating underneath and behind the flowers, and kind of tilting the paper over so that it drips a little bit this way, and then the same way this way, although I didn't do it as much, I could tell. But I'm gonna bring you guys back over, or put you guys back on speed mode, and then we're gonna finish up this layout.